Hello. Move this back. How are you guys doing tonight? I just dropped Alex off. We just left our party. I'm gonna show you my necklace that I wore tonight. Very cool. Look at my necklace I got. It's a Ouija board thing. Can you see? I got it at a Hot Topic. And yeah, we just got back from our party. We got there at about 8 o'clock, and it is, what time is it? It's 1 o'clock, and I just dropped him off. We had so much fun. I'll talk about that in a second. I got up today, slept in, got up, did my prayers and meditation, and it was so cold and so windy. It got windier and windier and windier throughout the day today. Apparently there are like 20 to 30,000 people that are without electricity right now in Indianapolis. When we were driving home, it was like everywhere that we went, it was just like there was nobody with electricity. Look at this necklace over here because it's like rattling around. It was crazy windy today. I actually showed it on my book vlog. I did a Spookathon vlog update, or Spookathon update today. That was like a vlog, and I showed it on there. So if you want to see how windy it was, I went out back and I mean, it was crazy. Like I thought trees were gonna fall and stuff. It was so crazy. Leaves were blowing everywhere. It was a very Halloween kind of day, which made it even more exciting to kind of go to this party tonight. I was real excited about it. So I got up and I ran errands. I went to Hot Topic and I bought that necklace. And then I got 3 t-shirts. I went in there not really knowing what I was gonna get. It was kind of colder outside, and I thought like they were having a bonfire. So I was gonna get like some kind of hoodie. I thought maybe they'd have like a Halloween, you know, movie hoodie or something, which I couldn't find there. They did for women, but they didn't have them for men. So I got 3 t-shirts. I got a Michael Myers t-shirt that just has his face on the front of it. It has like the mask. And then I got a Scream t-shirt that has Drew Barrymore on the phone. And it's like a white t-shirt and has her face, and it just says Scream underneath it in red lettering. And then I got another Scream I love the Scream franchise. Another Scream t-shirt that is just the poster of the movie. So I got that at Hot Topic. And then what else did I do? I feel like I went somewhere else. No, was that it? Where else did I go? I went somewhere else to look at some like Halloween stuff. I can't even remember now. But anyway, and then I came home. I went and got a coffee. I still am kind of like drinking my coffee. I have a little bit left. I came home and took a shower, and I filmed videos for my channels. Put up the review video. I put that up when I got up today for Halloween. And yeah, and it was just kind of a really relaxing day today. It was really nice. It was freezing in Indianapolis today though. Partly because of the wind, but partly just because it's getting colder here. And then Alex came home. He had a bunch of stuff he had to do today, work stuff. And then he came home. He went to the mall and got some stuff. And while I was filming my videos, he was watching TV, and then as soon as I got done, and I had him uploaded and stuff, it was about 6 o'clock. The party started at 6, but everybody that we were talking to was going at like 8:39. So, I got done with my videos like right at 6, I think, like 6-ish, sometime around there. And, he was like, babe, do you care if I lay down for an hour? I'm really tired before we go to the party. And I was like, no, not at all. I said, I think I'll lay down with you. So we took we took a nap for an hour. And then got up and took showers, and I took another shower, got up, redid my hair, and we went to the party. And I just wore black jeans and a black t-shirt and that necklace because a lot of people, my friend Aaron said, weren't dressed up, but like everybody was dressed up there. And not only that, but everybody was dressed up in real over-the-top costumes. And then I bought these like maroon Vans probably like 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't worn them, and they were just in the closet, so I broke them out tonight, and I wore them because I didn't want to wear the Birkenstock sandals if I was standing outside, and they were so comfy. So I wore these, and we had such a blast. And Alex wore his Grumpy Cat onesie, which I think he took a picture of and put it on his Instagram because he was having Melissa take pictures of him. We had such a great time. There were so many people there, And it's just kind of like her parties are, they're not like 200 people, they're like 30 people, 20 people, you know, and it's like her family and close friends, and it's just really fun, and it's like small and kind of, you know, intimate, but fun. Like, you know, her daughter and son were there, and her daughter had 2 friends from high school, and then there were like, some people brought their little kids, and everybody was dressed in costumes. It was fun. So yeah, it was a really good time. And actually, Erin now works for somebody, for this woman that I'm really good friends with. I have been for, I don't know, 15 plus years. And I actually hired her back in the day when I worked in treatment, and trained her, and then we actually worked side by side as well. So we sat there and talked for, it was so good seeing her. I mean, I've seen her kind of off and on, and we talk probably, I don't know, like every 6 months or something like that. But it was really good seeing her. I was telling her about all the stuff that was going on with the video that was made about me, and she was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, I know. And she was like, so we were talking about that, and I said, I actually thought about, you know, like calling you and like having you be on video, and like I was telling her all the stuff that had been said, and she was like, oh, I would totally be on video. She was like, there's nothing to any of it. And she was like, you've always been so awesome to me. And she was like, do you want me to be on a video with you? I was like, do you want to be on a video with me? She was like, yeah, we could sit and talk about, like, you know, how you hired me and how you worked there and whatever. I said, yeah, people think that I had a forced resignation. She goes, why do they believe that? She goes, you resigned and then I resigned after you. I was like, yeah, I know. She was like, yeah, I have no problem getting on video and talking about, and I went through every point that had been made. She goes, I have no problem getting on video and talking about how there's no truth to any of that stuff. So then the question is, though, even if I did do that, you know, like, are people going to come back and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you, you know? No, that's not going to happen. And that's why I haven't, up to this point, defended myself. Because when people see something and they want to believe it, they're going to believe it anyway. But I might make that video with her at some point. I was kind of surprised she was so willing to do it. She's like, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on any of that kind of stuff. I don't really care, I don't pay it any mind. You know, she was like, I know who I am, and she was like, I don't engage in any of that kind of stuff. And so it was really good talking to her. And yeah, so would you guys like to see that video? Should I make that video? I don't even know, like, the premise of what I would make that video, though. Like, me and my coworker, I mean, what would I call it, right? I haven't talked a whole lot about this stuff because, like, I don't really know what to say. It's like, since I have come on YouTube, there have been so many things that I have been accused of that there's absolutely no truth to, that when people say, you just need to be honest, or you just need to tell the truth, or you just need to own your truth, I'm like, I have owned my truth. And there's no truth to the things that people are saying. So what is it you exactly want from me? Like, that's what is confusing to me, right? And basically what people are saying is, no matter what you say, we're gonna believe the opposite. So if that's what people have already made up their mind, why do anything about it anyway, you know? So that's why I just, like, have gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna go on and do what I love to do. And at some point, you know, if I decide to come out and make that video, or, you know, whatever, maybe I'll do that. But we had a good time, and everybody was dressed up, and there was so much food there. There was cheese dip, and there was a lot of good stuff there that I couldn't eat because I'm a vegetarian, but it was like hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that. And candy, of course, and vegetables and dip, and on and on and on. So it was good. I had a really fun day today, and we were like one of the last people to leave the party. It was like Alex and I and Jason, Melissa's husband. We were like on couches at the end. We were like falling asleep, and Melissa and two other people were downstairs, like in their basement family room area by the fireplace, and we were like, come on, you guys, it's time to go. And oh, I think Alex was exhausted. He'd been going all day today. So anyway, yeah, it was fun. And then this upcoming week, tomorrow we're gonna go to brunch, and then this upcoming week, I have Teresa Caputo with Tanya, and then we have Haunted Fest on Friday night, and then Saturday night we don't have anything, and then, yeah, and then it's Halloween the following week, which is exciting. I'm really excited about Halloween, and one more day of Spookathon. I think I'm probably gonna have finished 3 definitely, 4 books for Spookathon. So 4 out of 5 isn't bad. I really wanted to complete all the challenges, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. It's like so weird because it was so windy earlier, and now it's like completely still outside. Alex was saying on the way home, he was, because it was like we were driving home, all the neighborhoods that we were going through had no electricity, and so it was like pitch black, and he was like, do you think this is what it's like if it was the Purge? And I go, well, they still had lights on in the Purge. And he was like, you know what's weird? It's like, he was like, in the summertime, you know, you hear all the sounds of like the air conditioning going and stuff like that. He's like, so in the summer when the electricity goes out, you realize how like noisy the world is. And we were talking about that, like, that you sometimes don't really realize how noisy the world is until something like that happens, you know? This one night, we used to have this neighbor of ours. She was like 100, 101 when she finally, like, they put her in an assisted living program. And her name was Norma, she was real sweet. And she drove till she was like 97, 98 or something like that. But she was driving till she was like late in age. And one night we were laying in bed and like the electricity went out. Well, we noticed it right away because we sleep with a fan, so it wakes both of us up because the fan goes off, right? So somebody is texting me. Let me pull up this bank right here. So who is texting me? I bet it's either Melissa or Alex, because I can't imagine it would be anybody else. Aww. It was... So Aaron's daughter last year, Maddie, who's been in some of my BookTube videos, she borrowed the Roseanne DVD of all the Halloween Roseannes. And so he sent me a picture and he said, you left the Roseanne, can you see it? He was like, you left the Roseanne DVD on the couch. And he was like, thanks again for coming to the party, love you guys. And we had such a good time, so much fun. Talking to these girls, Maddie was like, Peter makes YouTube videos, and That's Aaron's daughter. And so her two friends were like, you do? And they're like, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, what do you make videos about? And so it was kind of like trying to explain that I have these different channels and what I do. And Maddie was like, he met Shane Dawson. And they're like, what? You met Shane Dawson? And Maddie's like, show him the picture. So I like showed him the picture and they were like going crazy. They're like, we love Shane Dawson. This one girl's like, oh my God, I love Shane Dawson so much. I want to meet him so bad. And I was like, well, who do you guys watch? And it was so funny because they're but 14 and 15. So Maddie's 14 and one of her friends was 14, the other one was 15. And they're like, we used to like Jake Paul, but we don't watch him anymore. And they don't watch Tana Mojo. They watch Shane Dawson and then they watch prank videos. But they said, but not like Jake Paul pranks. We don't watch those. Those are for like little kids. I thought that was interesting that they said that. And they were they like Emma Chamberlain, who, if you guys don't know who she is, she's like friends with Tana, and she's like an up-and-coming YouTuber. They're like, that's the person they were talking about that they really like. Anyway, so yeah, it was fun. And then our other friend, his son is 17 and he wants to go to like either Rose-Hulman or Purdue for engineering, which are both like extremely good schools. And he's like super smart kid. Well, he puts together these incredible costumes. Like he had this 7-foot Iron Man costume that he wore to Comic-Con that he was showing us pictures of it. Well, he came tonight and he had this, supposedly it's from Venom or something. Half of his face was painted and the makeup on his face was like unbelievable. And then he had like this creature on his shoulder that he had a magnetic strap inside his, he just had like jeans and a sweatshirt on and it was all like torn open and stuff. And like inside he had some like magnetic like shoulder holster thing, and this thing sat on it, and so it would move, like he could move it up and down. And then he also had it triggered to his phone, so like every couple minutes it would go off and say something. I mean, it was so elaborate. It was crazy to see. I mean, this kid's costumes are so incredible. That kind of level of creativity is so neat to me. And he was like, yeah, I want to go into engineering. And Melissa was like, you need to go to LA and you need to be making props and special effects for people because you're on like the another level. He is too. It's like really cool. It was so much fun. My friend that I used to work with, she was a suffrage worker. That was her costume. She had like a long skirt on and like this like white blouse, and she had like this thing across her that said something about like right to vote on it or something like that. I was like, that is such a costume you would wear. She's like, well, I didn't know what to go as, and I have this in my closet. I was like, I just had this suffrage movement costume in my closet. I said, I love you so much. I missed you. And she had like pointed boots on and stuff. People had really fun, different costumes on. There's my gas light needing to be done. I've had a good October. October, you know, well, some of it has been good. But, I mean, like in my personal life, you know, October has been really good. And it's been good for me to get back to the things that are, like, important to me. And it was just like fun tonight. Like there were two people there that were both sober that are in like a different program than I'm in, but we know a lot of the same people, and we were like talking tonight and just kind of like, oh, how's so-and-so doing and blah, 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 whatever. And this one guy got sober about the same time that I did, same age that I did, but he's like 10 years younger than me. So we were talking about like getting sober at a young age, and you know, and I was saying that, you know, like when I was younger, I felt cheated. I felt like, you know, I wish I had had a chance to, like when I got sober at 22, you know, I was like, I wish that I could have continued to use till, you know, 25, 30, 35. I felt like all these people that came in were like 35, right? And so I got cheated out of all this time. And now, looking back, like, I wish I had gotten sober at, like, 15, 16. You know, I really wish I had. because of what the benefits that I got from it, and the people that I met, and the life that I was given. You know, he was like, oh, he got sober at 19. Of course, I was messing with the camera. But, you know, he said that he had gotten sober at 19, and he was like, yeah, I got sober, you know, young too, but like 19, but I wish I had gotten sober a lot earlier too. There's real grace when you get to the point where you see that, like, getting sober early is a gift. You know, and I was talking to him about having had some friends that went back out, you know, after double-digit years, 20 years of sobriety, and it just, like, scares the hell out of me. But, you know, at the same time, I realized that, like, that could happen to anybody, you know? So, but when I look at those people that went back out, I mean, the common denominator and all of that was they weren't going to meetings, they, you know, didn't have sponsors, they weren't working steps, they weren't giving back, they weren't working a program, you know. And at some point they kind of said that they didn't really need it anymore. And I think that is a scary thing, to get to the point where you think you don't need the thing that saved your life. You think, you know, I hope I never get to that point. You know, it's scary to me when I look back on, like, the years that I walked away for a while, you know, and even though I didn't pick up and use, you know, I had no emotional sobriety, and I never, during those years, though, had this feeling of, like, I don't need it. Like, I knew I needed my sobriety. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I knew I needed it, but, like, I was afraid to go back, too, you know? Like, I mean, I was still sober, but I didn't have emotional sobriety. Like, I wasn't using, but I wasn't working a program. I didn't have meetings, and I wasn't actively talking to my sponsor, and I wasn't actively working steps, and I definitely wasn't giving back, you know, in a 12-step program. And so when I look at that, and I think, like, could I have been closer to using than I actually even knew, you know? Probably. Like, but for the grace of God, you know, thank God I'm here. And I have to remember that when shit gets real bad or real down or low, you know, I have to remember that that's where I was. And even, like, when I first got sober, you know, anything better than that, I'm doing okay. And I forget that sometimes, you know, I forget how truly low things were, you know, how truly desperate. I was kind of like saying this mantra this morning, you know, when I got up, and I was like, today's gonna be like, I did my prayers and meditations, and then, like, my affirmations were like, today I'm gonna be happy all day, it's gonna be a fun day, I'm gonna have a good day, and I did, like, all day, you know. I have to tell you, like, this is totally off the subject, but because I was listening to it today, this campfire book that I'm listening to, like, if you're somebody that likes Audible and you want to just listen to a fun book the week of Halloween, well, it doesn't even have to be the week of Halloween, because it's about, like, campfire stories, but it's actually pretty scary. Like, it's corny, cheesy scary, but it's, like, it's got me kind of a little scared a little bit, like, listening to it, and it's definitely better than I thought it was when I first started listening to it. I was like, this is completely cheesy. Like, I can't get down with this at all. And now, like, I really can't wait to listen to it. I have like 2 hours left, I think, of it. And it's good. It's like really fun to listen to. So, if you guys are looking for like, it's not deep, it's nothing like that. It's not like great literature. It's not written great. I mean, it's, you know, the foreword is by James Patterson, which is apparently why his name is on all over the book. But, it is, I mean, it's fun to listen to. It's about this girl, and she and like her whole family and like her best friend, they go camping in like these mountain woods, and there's like this guide that she has a crush on, and he's like his job is to take people camping, and so they sit around and they start telling these camp stories. Well, the camp stories start coming true. But they're not camp stories that you've heard before. Like, actually, and this is what's crazy to me, the parts of the book that are really interesting to me are the camp stories, like the campfire stories. Those are the ones that are really interesting to me, like really fun to listen to. Which is interesting, don't you think? Like, I don't, because that's not usually stuff that I love. Like, I'm not like a person that loves fairy tales and stuff like that. But these are kind of like modern twists on urban legends. They're done very well. Like, the campfire stories are done very well in the book. Alex and I were talking about what movie we're going to go see tomorrow night. I was like, we need to go figure out what movie we're going to go see tomorrow night, The Hate You Give. And he goes, what? And I go, I want to go see The Hate You Give. And he goes, I thought you said we were going to go see Venom or The Nun. I was like, we were literally in the movie theater last night, and this couple that we sat next to, they were so fun, and they were talking about how they had the A-list pass, which I need to get. And I said, well, what are some great movies that you've seen recently? And they were both like, oh, Peppermint was really good. And then the girl like leans down, she goes, The Nun is so good. And I go, really? She's like, yes, I love scary movies, it's so good. And I was like, oh my God, Alex is gonna make me go see The Nun now. I mean, it kind of feels much more like a DVD movie to me, so, but whatever. We can go see The Nun, that's fine. I don't think it's showing anywhere. My coffee is gone. I need something else to drink. I had like a half a Coke and a bottle of water at the party the whole time we were there. My stomach is kind of hurting, and I think it's because I ate a bunch of nacho cheese with dip. And then she had these cream cheese jalapeno things, and I had a couple of those. That probably didn't help. And I had 2 pieces, 2 little pieces, they were cut in small pieces, of pumpkin pie, and a bunch of candy. I ate so unhealthy tonight and last night, and I don't even care. These 2 friends of Aaron and Eric's, like, well, it's been like Aaron's best friend forever, and her husband. He's lost like 60 or 70 pounds, and she's lost 45. We were just talking to them before we left. On the keto diet since April, they don't even look like the same people. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And you know, like some like diets that people go on, they like look really unhealthy. Like, I've seen a lot of people that have done the Atkins diet, and I mean, I know it's a great diet for some people, but like a lot of people that go on it, to me, they don't look real healthy afterwards, you know? But, these, like, Erin, like, her friend and her friend's husband, like, they looked really healthy. Like they just got back from 2 weeks in Hawaii. I mean, like, they looked good. And, I was like super impressed. I was like, I said to her, I said, do you feel good? She goes, oh my God, I feel incredible. She's like, I don't even feel like the same person. I feel like in the last week, I've talked to so many people that have lost like a lot of weight that, I don't know, maybe I'm like subconsciously being motivated and inspired by people that I'm meeting around me. girl I used to work with, she's really into like working out and stuff. And I was telling her, I was like, how did she say it? It was so funny. Cause I said, I said, we have had a gym membership for about 4 years, and the last time I went was 2 years ago. And I said, I don't think Alex has gone since last summer. And she goes, oh, so you make donations to the gym. I go, well, where do you work out? I said, I want to work out where you work out because you look so good. And she goes, well, I work at like a small circuit gym that's run by my trainer. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, she goes, it's pretty serious. I was like, yeah, that's probably not the gym for me. I go, so it's not like open 24 hours. She just looked at me. She goes, it's not that kind of gym. And she goes, no, like, I go in there, like, we have an appointment. And I was like, oh, okay. But I need something. I need something. Yeah, I need to eat less and move more. I hate when skinny people tell me that. It's always like naturally thin people that tell me that. Really, all you need to do is eat less and move more. I'm like, really? That is genius. Where did you come up with that? Oh, just something else now. That's genius. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to show you guys this. Holy shit. How am I gonna do this to show this to you guys? Okay. I want you to see the front of this house, okay? Are you ready? Get ready for it. I hope you can see it on camera. Here, I'm gonna focus it in. Can you see? It's a mouth. Do you get it? Look at that for Halloween. I love that. That is so cool. I thought they were gonna come out and be like, why are you taking pictures of my house? I'm in Zionsville, so this is pretty. It's not like I'm out in the country and somebody's gonna come out on their front porch with a shotgun. Here's my house that I love so much. Looks so cozy inside. They have all kinds of pumpkins. We just have one lonely pumpkin. I keep on saying that. Alex laughs every time I say it. I go, yeah, we just have that one lonely pumpkin. We were talking about Strangers with Candy, and I said I think it kind of sounds like Jerry Blank when I say that from Strangers with Candy. Just one lonely pumpkin. This is my favorite street that I'm on right now. It's so cute. I'm kind of surprised people don't have their houses more decorated for Halloween. So pretty through here though. Downtown Zionsville. They do, oh my gosh. These people, I wish I could show you, but like in every window of their house, they had a pumpkin lit up and it was very scary looking. What do you guys want to see? I should just back up and show you guys. I'm going to because it's very cool. I hope people aren't like, why are you showing our houses? But I want to show this because it's so cool. Can you see? Do you see that? Look at that. How cute is that? Okay. You guys get all the show and tells tonight, don't you? Now my hands are all sticky from touching that stupid thing 400 times. I wish I had you all alone. I feel like I've done everything for Halloween now that I wanted to do this year. I didn't go to the pumpkin patch, but I don't really care about that. You guys, there's so much to show. These people over here, like their entire, like I want to, You guys are like, Peter, we really do not care about all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna have to spray this again. Get ready, because you're about to see the world's biggest spider. Look at this. Do you see the spider web? Look at that spider web. I love that people are decorating their, oh my God. Of course, me turning around the camera, I turned it off. Okay. And now, I am back at the house with the large mouth on it. That's kind of a really cute idea, isn't it? And I bet it's so easy to do. I bet it's just styrofoam or something. That's genius. So anyway, I feel like I've done everything I wanted to do for Halloween, except for watch a lot of movies. I read 3 to 4 books this week, which, for me, reading 3 to 4 books in a week anyway is a big deal. And, I mean, it was super fun. But got a lot of the stuff done that I wanted to get done already. And so it's like I've had so much fun already this Halloween season. Now I gotta start thinking about what I want to do for the Christmas season. Oh. Is this thing rattling? I have the heat up to 90 in here. We don't need it quite that hot. I'm sorry, this road is brick, so it is, everything is rattling. I'll be off of it in just a second. They weren't playing any music or anything tonight at the party. That's what I thought was kind of strange, that like, back in the day, my mom always had those records with like spooky sounds. Well, she would play those on Halloween usually when people came to trick or treat. But like for a Halloween party and stuff, like inside, like for the chili dinner, my mom would always play like old, like old scary songs from like, it was a, what was that? It was a graveyard smash. The MASH, the Monster MASH, that song, and those kinds of songs. Do you remember those songs from back in the day? Those were always fun to listen to. I think sometimes that stuff means more to you the older you get than when you're younger. Like when I was younger, I didn't really care about that stuff. But now, like the older I get, it's like, I want to hear that stuff. I want to bob for an apple and listen to Monster MASH, Strange that there's not more people out on a Saturday night. God, the sky is pretty though. We did the mash. We did the monster mash. This coat, I will say, gets warm very, very quick. It's funny because, like, when I was growing up, remember those big bulky coats you have to have? I always had, like, a big, like, bright colored bulky coat. Because I was a walker to school. So my parents always wanted me to have a bright coat on, in case I was walking in the winter, because it would be like pitch black outside, in the morning. God, I think back about that, it's so strange to me that, like, I did that. It's even stranger to me now when I think back on it that, like, parents, like, didn't really have an issue with that, But anyway, I can remember having like this big like yellow and red and blue bright coat, and it was big and puffy, and you know, having the hat pulled down and the mittens and the scarf and everything wrapped up. And I can remember leaving, and you know, like my mom kissing me goodbye, and then I would walk down the street. And the street that I grew up in, you know, like I was on a cul-de-sac, so I'd have to walk all the way up to that end of that street in the pitch black at like, you know, what, 6:50 in the morning or something, and then all the way down the main street on the sidewalk, which was like a mile. My dad and I, he came over before I started first grade, and I would have to walk it, or whatever I started, and we did like practice runs of the walk. Isn't that sweet? And to see how long it would be. But I would walk that, you know, in the morning by myself. I look back on that now, and I think there was something very lonely about that to me, you know. I don't know. I was a lonely kid. I really was. And, I mean, I had friends. Like, I wasn't, you know, I think when I talk about being lonely or I had no friends, I mean, I had friends. I just didn't have really great friends. I didn't have, like, best friends that I saw all the time. And, you know, but I would have a friend that we were close for a while, and, you know, whatever. But it wasn't like I had a friend that, like, we were best friends from, like, first grade all through, like, you know, 6th grade or high school. That just was not the case. I'd be friends with somebody for, like, a year, and then I wouldn't have, you know. But I remember walking that, like, every winter morning by myself. And then when I was in junior high, I took the school bus, and so I would have to be out there whatever time to wait for the school bus. Maybe that was like 6:50, I can't remember. 6:50 seems rather early for elementary school. I think it was probably later than that. But I do remember it being really dark outside when I walked to school. But then when I would go take the bus, it was dark outside too. And I would wait up there with like 2 or 3 other people, and we would take the bus to school. And back in the mornings and in the afternoons. Although I played tennis a lot in the afternoons, so my mom would pick me up from school not all the time, but a lot of days. And then I remember, like, when I got to 9th grade, the bullying was pretty bad by 9th grade. And I didn't tell my mom why, but I said I'm not taking the bus anymore. And the bus was just hell for me. It was absolutely hell for me. And she was like, why not? And I always sat like except for when I had friends, I sat very close to the front of the bus. And I said, I'm just not taking the bus anymore. I said, you're going to have to take me to school and pick me up. I'm not going to do it anymore. And she was like, okay. So I didn't. I think back on that sometimes, you know, like, you know, walking to school by myself as like this little kid, and then taking the bus, and like all of these experiences that I had, you know, before I was even grown, that were fearful or that were forming who I was as a person. But I think if you just looked at me, I was just some kid, you know? Don't you think it's interesting, though? I mean, are there walkers today, like with the kidnappings and stuff and scares? And it seems like we wouldn't probably let kids walk to school. I mean, in the pitch black, it seems so strange to me that we allowed kids to do that. That I was allowed to do that, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, everybody did that. Like, everybody in my neighborhood, you know, all the way from my neighborhood. There was like 2 or 3 streets after mine, further out, and all of those streets, all the way into the elementary school, we all walked. All the way, like, those were like the furthest streets out, and then it was like those streets going in, we were all walkers. Everybody else was bused, but, like, you know, because they were too far away, but we were all walkers. And I look at that and I think that's so crazy, you know? And in most days, like, the other thing is, I don't remember walking to school with anybody, and I don't remember walking to school, like, seeing people walk to school. Like, maybe randomly, but, like, in my head, when I think back about that, I don't think about, like, it being, like, a mass group of people walking to school, you know? I do remember, though, walking home from school and being picked on by people. And so I was, like, my 5th grade year, I was a crossing guard, so I always got to walk home later than everybody else, because I would have to help with the crossing guard stuff, and then I would take my crossing guard stuff in, and so I would be, like, the last one to leave school with, like, the principal. And by then, nobody was sticking around to mess with me. But before that, like, those grades before that, like, kids picked on me on the way home. And I would just, like, I would be, like, one of the first ones out of school and one of the first ones across the street. And I would just, you know, I mean, of course I'm not going to run home, because I don't want, you know, then you're even picked on more. But I would just walk really, really fast. And there was a street that the street that I lived on, there was a street that, like, they were side by side. And so I would hop through these people's yard, like their high fence, to get into the house across the cul-de-sac from us, their backyard, because they were friends of my mom's. And then I would come home that way, because I just didn't want to have to deal with these kids that would, like, follow me home and stuff like that. It just was bad. It was just really bad. Sometimes, like, looking back on that, how I really made it. I mean, I must have been a lot stronger than I thought I was, you know? And I think had it not been from the love that I had from my family, you know, and my parents' friends and stuff, basically telling me I was the greatest thing ever, and just being so affectionate and loving to me. I mean, because I look back on that and I think, you know, how did I not snap at some point? I think we live in a world where, whether you're a child or adult, sometimes the easier route is being hurtful to somebody. You know, I think it's sometimes, I think for some people, it is really a lot more difficult to be kind, to be compassionate, to try to put yourself in their shoes and be understanding. You know, I think it's hard, you know? I don't know. I'm grateful that I made it out of that. I think it made me a stronger person. But the thing is, I don't ever remember looking back on it and thinking I'm not gonna make, like, I can't handle this anymore. I never remember thinking I can't handle it anymore, or I don't know how much more of this I can take. Like, it's almost like I almost just became immune to it at some point, which I think is scarier than anything else, you know, that I just, at some point, just accepted it, and I was like, okay, this is okay. Like, this is what I have to deal with, and that's not right. Like, that's not right, you know? And, you know, I think we live in a world where if you don't stand up for yourself and you don't fight back and, you know, all this kind of stuff, then you're weak. When I was raised to turn the other cheek, you know, I was raised, you know, to not fight back. I was raised that showing strength is knowing who you are, not proving that to anybody, and turning the other cheek and not fighting back. And those were values and morals that I learned as a young kid, you know? But I think that we live in a society, no matter what age you are, that people think you're weak if you don't do those things. I don't think that's true, you know? I've chosen not to have children, but I think that, you know, I remember, like, I interviewed Jay Bell, who is an author, and he's gay, and we asked him in the interview, like, if you could tell kids that are being bullied, like, one thing, what would you tell them? He said, fight back, because it's not going to make anything any different. And I remember, like, I kind of go back and forth with this, where I think, like, yeah, I kind of wish I had fought back, but, you know, at the same time, like, the one thing I kept was my integrity, you know, in all of it. It wouldn't have made any difference, honest, because he said that it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Well, if it wouldn't make any difference anyway, then isn't the better choice the higher road? Like, now I look at that, but there have been periods in my life when, I mean, I think I even talked about it on here like 2 months ago, and I said I totally get what he's saying now. But, you know, today, I'm like, but isn't the higher road, I don't know, like, you know, my dad is a very strong man, and he's very emotionally and physically strong. And there have been moments where I have seen people say things to him that I thought, my dad could take this person out, right? And he just stands there, literally. And it's like, it's very much a turn the other cheek moment. And, it's just interesting, you know? But that's who I was raised to be, you know? I remember when kids would say to me, like in high school, I'm gonna beat your ass, and you be outside at, you know, 3:10 and by such and such place, and I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. And I'd be like, there's no reason to fight. This is what I would say to them. Are you ready? I would say, there's no reason to fight me, because you are gonna beat my ass, and so there, you have it. What do you need to prove? Like, I would say this to them, right? And they would just look at me, and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, you're stronger than me, you're gonna beat my ass, so let's not even fight. And I would just walk away. You know, and they'd be like, he's a fucking pussy, he's so weak, he won't even fight me. No, I'm not gonna fight you, what for? But in my life, I can say I've been in one physical fight, and it wasn't because of me. It's because this guy that got off the bus, because I said something to him, I don't even remember what I said, I don't even know the situation, I can't remember. But he was like, he kept on saying, I'm gonna get off the bus, and I have to fight you, I have to fight you, I have to fight you. And I was like, okay. And so we got off the bus. It's so ridiculous when I look back on it, but I was so scared. And, I mean, I just didn't grow up in violence. I just didn't. You know, I grew up in a toxic environment with an alcoholic mother, but I didn't grow up in violence. And both my parents hated violence. And, you know, any kind of real true, like, violent talk or any of that, they just didn't like at all. And they definitely didn't like it around me. And this kid, you know, he looked at me and he was like, and I had braces at the time. I think it was like 6th grade, 7th grade, something. I think it was 6th grade. And I said, and he goes, okay, are you ready? And I said, I'm ready. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna hit you now. And he like went and he hit me. And it's like, I like must have had my mouth open or something. And he like hit across my teeth, and his knuckles started bleeding because of my braces. And he was like, you cut my knuckles open with your braces and blah, blah, blah. I think he took a bracket off even. And like, he like started like, he turned and like ran home or whatever. And I like stood there for a second. And I remember I like ran all like as fast as I could to my house, and I like went inside, and I was like sobbing, and my mom was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? I was like, it's nothing, it's nothing. And I just think it was a lot of that, you know, of me growing up and just kind of like very silent suffering. And I don't know, you know, but like I think the strengths that came out of it, the attributes, are that I'm a strong as hell person today, whether I seem that way or not to people. I really am inside, you know? And, and I'm, I think, resilient. even think it matters. God, look at that huge tree came down in that yard. My gosh. I don't know. But what I was going to say earlier about when we interviewed him, you know, I've chosen not to have kids, but if I did, I don't think I would teach them to fight. I think I would teach them what my parents taught me: turn the other cheek, to treat others the way that you want to be treated, and you know, to not fight people. That's hard sometimes, you know, but it's always interesting to me when, like, I'm talking to people, you know, and, like, this has been something I've, like, you know, 20 years, somebody's like, oh yeah, like, I whipped this person's ass, and I'm like, blah, 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 and I took him down, like, wow, you know, like, I just look at him and think, wow, that is a proud moment to claim that you just beat someone's ass, right? Like, I mean, I think we've all felt like we wanted to at one time or another, but what takes more strength, doing it or holding back, you know? I know there's a lot of you out there that probably don't agree with what I'm saying, but I don't know, I'm just not a real proponent of violence. Even, like, the older I get, like, I just don't, like, it's interesting because, like, the violence in, like Halloween, the movie, was, like, gratuitous, like slasher movie violence. That doesn't really bother me too much. But, like, when you see it in, like, a movie, or, like, when you see it in, like, a TV show, like American Horror Story this season is kind of starting to, like, okay, Cult, I think part of the reason I didn't finish it was very angry, very hate-filled violence. Like, I have a hard time watching that. I need to stop and get gas. I'm at 32 miles till empty. So I have a hard time watching that. But then, like, I don't know, like, I just, you know, like, slasher kind of horror movie, kind of, like, that kind of violence doesn't really bother me, but the others, I just don't like violence. I just don't, you know? I just don't like that kind of, I just don't like cruelty. I just don't understand it, you know? I just really don't understand why people want to make other people feel worse than they already feel. Like, what is to be gained by that at all? Like, at all, you know? I really don't understand it. This stupid thing has been rattling the entire night. Have you heard that? It's driving me nuts. Change anything by saying it, but I think to be a little kinder to people, to be a little bit nicer, like I say this on here all the time, you know, it takes just a little bit of effort for us to do that, you know, to be a little bit of understanding of somebody's circumstances, you know, maybe. I think the payback on that in the long run, I've received so many messages this week, you guys. I can't even tell to stop. It's been at times a little bit, like, overwhelming and surprising to me. So I haven't been able to respond to all of them, but I just want to say how much I appreciate it, how much the support means so much to me. But it's past just being support, because I've received so many messages from people that have said, I've watched her videos for, you know, 6 months, or I've watched her videos for 1.5 years now, and, you know, then they share with me what they were going through at that time, and, you know, how there are so many people, I'm driving through Broader Bowl right now, that are dressed in costumes. This is hilarious. And, they're like, you have no idea how much you helped me at that time, and, you know, had it not been for you, I mean, I got through doctor's appointments, I got through, you know, going through chemo, you know, I lost a parent, I got through a breakup because of you, and that's not because of me. It's not. Like, you guys did that, right? Thank you for allowing me to contribute to your process and your journey of getting through that, but you did that. But I get those messages, you know, and it's like, I don't know, it just means so much to me that people enough that they feel like I affected them positively in that way, that they feel like they need to reach out and let me know, and I just can't tell you how much it means to me. It's just been amazing. So, leave those blue hearts for the wolf pack. Somebody the other day was like, what does a blue heart on here mean? Somebody was like, it's for the wolf pack. We're the people that watch Peter's videos regularly. So yeah, the blue hearts are for the wolf pack, and the wolf pack is just, you know, people, all of us over here that trying to be a little kinder on a daily basis or whatever, no matter what the circumstances. No matter what the circumstances, just being a little kinder, you know, to the world out there. And, but I've just gotten some amazing messages from people, and it's been awesome. I was missing my mom earlier today, you know. It's like when I went into Hot Topic, they had like she didn't like scary movies, but they had like these Crystal Lake t-shirts. She loved costumes though, and they had these, if you want a really cute costume for Halloween, go to Hot Topic. They have t-shirts, I think they're like $10, and they're like Camp Crystal Lake. None of them would have fit me, but like the girls are really cute. They're like ring tees. Get some jean shorts and go as a camp counselor from Camp Crystal Lake, you know, in the Friday the 13th movies. But anyway, they had all kinds. I could not believe the costumes that Hot Topic had. I mean, unbelievable. They have full Riverdale costumes in there. Leather jackets and everything. The serpent jackets, the red biker serpent jackets. I couldn't believe the costumes they had in there. They were phenomenal. So anyway, I was like thinking about my mom, and like it's just weird. It's like every once in a while, like I'm like, oh, I'd love to call mom, and like now I don't, like back in the day what would happen is I would be like, oh, I should call mom and then I would stop, right? Thinking it halfway through, I'd be like, yeah, I can't do that. That doesn't happen to me anymore, but what happens is I'll think to myself like, God, I wish I could call mom and tell her, you know, about these cool costumes that they had, or you know, just something like that. It's weird. I was talking to my friend that I used to work with, you know, and I forever see, you know, like, we worked with each other, you know. When I left there, I was, I met Alex, I started dating Alex when I was 36, so I left there when I was 35, and, would that be right? I left there in 2008, was born in 72, yeah, I would have been 36 that year, so I left when I was 35, but so forever, for me, in my head, you know, I think of her as like, you know, late 20s, early 30s, and I was like, now how old are you now? And she's like a couple years younger than me. I was like, are you serious? And she looked so good, and I was like, oh my God, I thought that you were like 10 or 15 years younger than me. She was like, I wish. And, but you know, it's weird. It's like, one day you wake up and it's like, you're 46 years old and you're like, what happened? And it's not even like really, like she and I were talking about this tonight. It's like, I don't care about getting older. I don't even personally care about the aging process. I don't care about the white hair and the wrinkles and the lines. Hey, I earned them. okay? You know, I earned them all. But what I care about is, like, see, it even kind of makes my voice choke a little bit. It's like the running out of time, like the how many more Halloween parties do you have in you left, and how many Halloweens do you have in you, you know, and you know, I don't eat real healthy, and I smoke some, and, you know, I drink a lot of coffee, and I could have a heart attack, and that terrifies the shit out of me, you know, and then I think, well, I need to get really healthy, and then that scares the shit out of me, you know, and it's like all of it, getting older, is just, it's hard sometimes. It's like, but then there's like a peace that comes with it too, where you get to a point where I think, and this is where I'm at right now, where you get to a point where you're like, I just love my life. Like, I just feel so blessed to have the family and have the people that I have in my life and the experiences that I have. And do you know what I mean? Like, you just get to a point where you're like, I just feel so incredibly blessed. And, so then you can kind of like, you get back to that very simple life. You know, I sat on my porch today and I was reading a little bit, and Alex brought me this was so cute because he knows I like frosted cookies. He brought me a frosted pumpkin cookie from Panera, okay? Because he got chili from Panera for lunch. And it was so delicious, and I took it outside, and the wind was blowing, and I was out there reading you know, Hocus Pocus. And I got some of my pumpkin apple cider, and I was drinking it cold, and it just was such a perfect moment. You know, the leaves were blowing, but, you know, I had a coat on, and I was sitting out there drinking apple cider, eating this cookie, and it was like this right here is like a perfect moment. But the thing is, like, if you're younger and I can give you anything, get that young. Get it young, that those are the moments that matter, okay? The moments with your dogs, okay? When you're sitting at your dinner table with your family at a holiday or whatever, and people are laughing and people are telling jokes and somebody's screaming from the kitchen and your Aunt Judy's driving you crazy and your mom's like, why'd you wear that dress? And all of that's driving you crazy. And you're like, God, I just can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to this. I can't wait till that. Don't speed through it. Slow down. Those are the moments that you'll look back and miss. Those are the moments that you'll wish you could redo. Some of the moments that drive us the most crazy in the world, some of the moments that the people that drove us the craziest are the moments that we miss the most when it's gone, you know? And you can't get them back. I'd love for one more crazy Christmas with my mom and my aunt and my uncle, you know? But that entire apartment complex is no lights. The entire apartment building. You can't get those moments back. So cherish them now. Cherish the small moments. Cherish the going to get a slushie with your best friend. You know, cherish the going to see a movie at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, you know, and getting excited. You know, all of that. Have fun with it. Have fun with those small moments, because those are the moments that really matter in the long run, you know? Those are the moments that really, I'm gonna go over here and get gas. I'm gonna come back here and show you guys this apartment building because it's kind of spooky and, you know, completely dark. But those are the moments that like mean the most, you know? And it took me so long to figure that out. I don't talk about this on here very often, but when shit was bad between Alex and I, you know, and this was before the marriage counseling stuff, and, you know, we had a lot of conversations like, maybe we're not gonna make it, you know? And when we would have those conversations and we would be sitting there looking at each other on the bed and we would both be sobbing our eyes out, you know? Like, just at the thought that we just... When I tell you that marriage counseling saved our lives, saved our marriage, like, you have no idea, okay? I mean, I love my husband. If you go back and you watch the marriage or anniversary Q&A that we did, where he says in there, just come for our marriage, just try to, like, him even saying that, like, we're both so protective of our marriage now. We would not have the marriage that we had we not gone through the shit that we went through and then gone to counseling to repair it, you know? But I remember, like, those times that we would sit there and we would talk about, like, do we really think that we're gonna make it through? Is it worth it? Can we do it, you know? The things I thought about losing were like sleeping in bed with my husband at night, you know, or, you know, taking trips with him, little vacations and drives around, you know, and being with the dogs, his family, my family, you know, going over to his brother's house for a cookout on a Sunday afternoon, you know, seeing the nephews, like, you know, talking to his mom, dancing, like, those were the things. Brunch on Sundays. It wasn't the big stuff. It wasn't. The stuff that I was, like, so scared of losing, the stuff that meant so much to me in that moment was that small shit. It really, really was, you know? And so you gotta hold on and cherish that stuff, because that's the stuff that's most important. I'm gonna go inside and get something to drink because I'm thirsty. So I'm gonna get gas and I'll be back. Okay. Back from the gas station. Got an iced tea. It is so cold outside. I was actually talking to the guy in the gas station about how cold it was. He's so nice, and he used to work at McDonald's, and now he works at this gas station, and he remembers me from coming in there and getting Diet Cokes forever, late at night, listening to audiobooks. And we were talking about the ice storm. I was like, do you remember that ice storm from a couple years ago? And he was like, yeah, how do you remember that? I was like, I was just talking to a friend of mine about it last night. Oh, look at the moon, it's so pretty. And, oh, the battery is gonna die any second. Oh, I was gonna go and show that building. Anyway, he was like, oh, that was like the worst winter ever. Do you remember? And I was like, yeah, I hope we don't have a winter like that this year. He's like, well, it's starting early this year. He's like, it's really cold, and it is really cold this year. But just because it's cold, you know, in October doesn't mean that January, December are gonna be cold. They could be really mild. Weather changes here all the time. So anyway, I am, whenever the battery starts flashing, I literally have like a minute or two. So I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. I have absolutely no idea how long this vlog is. I think it's probably around an hour, maybe, close to, maybe just a little bit before. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well and getting ready for the week ahead. And let me know if you have any Halloween fun plans for the week. And I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.